The Phaser 3 game that's currently winning on Steam is Vampire Survivors, and in this video, we'll show you how it happened. Vampire Survivors is the top-selling action roguelike right now, and it's been in the top 50 most played for over a month. The game launched on December 17th, 2021, and here's what the chart of players look like until January 3rd. This image is not an error, it really is just a flat line because basically no one was playing it. But then, things started picking up on January 4th when the game suddenly had 3 times more people playing it than the day before. The day after that, there were over 1,000 people playing. Then on January 14th, there were over 5,000 people playing. Fast forward to February 20th, and it hit an all-time high of 77,061. This game had a 99% chance of going completely unnoticed. The developer behind the game had this to say about his expectations and initial goals. I was once again not expecting much. I put the game on Steam because there wasn't a player discourse on itch. I was hoping to maybe recoup the $1,500 I had spent that far for assets, art, and music over a year. The developer is Luca Galante, and luckily for him, Vampire Survivors has made him much more than $1,500. Only Galante, and of course Steam, knows the exact figures, but we can safely guess that it is something north of $500,000, and it is likely quite a bit north. So how the hell did this happen? I'd take $500,000. I think you would too. There was some activity on itch.io at the end of 2021 and early 2022. Luca tweeted about the game sporadically starting in October 2021 and mentioned his game on the Phaser Discord server, but that was more or less all the marketing that was done. These efforts can account for perhaps the handful of initial players in the very beginning, but not going from basically 0 to 5,000 in a span of 10 days. Our investigation starts on the evening of January 3rd, 2022, when the YouTuber Splattercat Gaming tweeted about Vampire Survivors to his 11,000 followers, saying that it's $3 and it's the shit, check it out. The growth to 60 players the next day is probably from that tweet. In the comments was another YouTuber called Wanderbots, and on January 4th, he said, "It looks rad as hell, and at that price, it's a steal." He then published a video about the game on January 5th to over 400,000 subscribers. The next day, Splattercat Gaming released his own video about the game to 700,000 subscribers. The number of players continued to grow steadily until Northern Lion, another YouTuber, published a video on January 14th to his 900,000 subscribers. Both Wanderbots and Northern Lion continued publishing videos about the game. This led to smaller YouTube channels following suit. This snowball effect is what catapulted Vampire Survivors to the top of the charts on Steam, which then exposed it to an even wider audience. So what's the lesson here? Is it to hope that a YouTuber picks up your game? No, because that's not in your control, and it's also not the key reason. It would be nice and helpful, but one YouTuber making one video about the game is not how Vampire Survivors blew up. Splattercat Gaming's tweet to 11,000 followers actually did very little. Wanderbots' video, then Splattercat Gaming's video, went out to a combined 1 million subscribers, and that only moved the number of players into the low thousands. It wasn't until Northern Lion and Wanderbots continued making videos for a couple of weeks that the graph turned up and get significantly steeper. This is when the game reached escape velocity and media websites like Vice, IGN, and Polygon started covering it. So number one, the game actually has to be good, and Vampire Survivors is quite addictive. The graphics look like they came from a 99-cent store, but the gameplay is good. Second, the price was right. A more expensive game from an unknown developer would have likely stalled the growth. And third, you have to keep talking about and promoting the game. This is actually the key point that make the first two matter. All three are required to reach escape velocity. Now, you might be thinking that I'm just talking nonsense, because it is clearly a YouTuber picking up the game that made it successful. And it is almost 100% true that if Splattercat Gaming never mentioned the game, that it would still be unknown today. but it is not because of any single YouTuber's video or mention that got the game to where it is. So here's the thing. These days, all successful Steam games are played by YouTubers or Twitch streamers. It's not so much a strategy as it is a requirement, and sometimes you can't tell which came first. What really matters is how often a potential customer sees or hears about a game. This is just a variant on the classic sales adage, the money is in the follow-up. People are busy, distracted, forgetful. I mean, they're just like us. It may take hearing about a product 7 times before someone buys. If Wanderbots and Northern Lion each only made 1 video, well, then you wouldn't be watching this video right now. Instead, they made 46. And the greater YouTube ecosystem likely made hundreds. If Splattercat Gaming had only tweeted about the game, it wouldn't have worked. If only Splattercat Gaming had made his 1 video about the game, it also wouldn't have worked. We need to be promoting our games constantly, and likely a lot more than we're comfortable doing, until we reach a tipping point where the momentum takes on a life of its own. If you don't believe me, then check out this video to learn how my indie game that was featured by Apple in the early days of the App Store completely failed, while this comparable game, they got the side eye, eventually became a household name.